What up, everybody? This your boy Black Magus back with another drunken rant. So sitting here chilling, riding out the mellow high. Well, I guess it's not a high. Alcohol is not really something that makes you high. It's actually a depressant and shit like that. So I don't know why I call it a mellow high. Fuck, let me just get to the point of this. So, chilling and surfing the web and looking at people's posts on Facebook, I guess. I don't know. And I see somebody do some really dumb shit. They post a picture of a bunch of weed next to a picture of them in their work uniform. Now, people still really think that you can just do and say all types of dumb shit and get away with it on the internet, and that's just not true at all. Yeah, some of you do sneak by, but at the end of the day, it's not a guarantee that it's okay, because I think a lot of people just need to I find it funny that people don't realize how little privacy you really have on the internet, especially when you display stuff on a public level. Now I do know Facebook does have settings where you can hide shit, but this person wasn't hiding their stuff. Their profile was public, so therefore any Joe Smo could come by and see this shit, including that person's boss. Why don't people really, okay, your boss may not be into the internet like you are, but who is to say that your boss doesn't have Facebook and doesn't happen upon your name? For any odd reason. And the shit happens. I remember doing a paper for a class where I talked about that, and wrote a paper about this article where this teacher, she said something because the kids were getting on her nerves, and she said something to the effect that she just can't stand all these kids and all these. She was a teacher in an affluent area, and she kept saying how she couldn't stand these rich kids and how they got on her nerves. And somehow a parent ran across her comment on Facebook. I don't think she had her settings to private, or if she did, someone maybe have shared her stuff or let someone come by who knew one of the teachers see it. All I know is her shit got exposed, and in the end parents were outraged and she lost her job. That shit really does happen, and it happens more often than you think, but people just really feel like they're bulletproof on the internet, and I don't understand how you can feel that way. I know me doing these drunken rants, I know other people can see them, and of course they can build a perception of me, which probably not true, because in hindsight, it doesn't matter how many of these videos I do, doesn't mean I'm always drunk, but people might give the perception. I understand that that's a risk. At the same time, I know that I'm not saying or divulging anything that can be detrimental to other people or to myself. At least I hope I'm not. Most times I'm pretty smart about how I word things and how I express myself, as to not to expose myself or others for certain things. I've talked about actions of other people like I'm talking about this person, but I make sure to word things in the most general sense where you can't necessarily trace it back to a specific person. You know what I mean? I try to keep it smart. I try to be thoughtful about this, because I know people, there are people out there who could see this and it could cause me complications with work, with getting a job, with school. You know what I mean? You don't want to. I remember I made a comment about something in class, and thankfully I keep my Facebook private. But a friend of mine reminded me, she was like, yo, you need to just be mindful of that, because you don't want your teacher to see that. And it's like, yo, it's true. You need to be very, very careful about the statements and comments that you make, because that shit comes back to haunt you. You know what I mean? Like here, yeah, a lot of the stuff I talk about is related to stuff that really did happen. But again, I make sure to keep things as private as possible and not overly expose people and expose myself, because it can hurt my future. Now, if this was my job, if this was all I did for a living, and I would be secure in the fact that I would do this for the rest of my life, maybe I would take that type of risk. Personally, I don't think so, because that's just not my style, because I don't want to quote unquote out other people like that. You know, that's another thing that's kind of fucked up when people do that. You know, like a chick be like, you know, Sean, he did this, blah blah blah, and like, yo, Sean wants you to blast his business all over the internet like that. You know what I mean? Or if you make a comment about something that someone did, even if you leave their name out, but you're making it in the presence of someone else who was involved in that situation, who happened to see that page, or they may like get an idea. You just gotta be careful. Like, it's not even being careful, just be smart. Be very smart about how you do things, how you say things, because you don't know who out there will take it and use it against you. You know what I mean? Be careful. Don't be a fucking dumbass. Hate people who are dumb with that shit. But that's the drunk rant. I know this one was a little more of a PSA drunken rant, but I just feel like it's something that needs to be said. Like, really don't think that you're unable to be touched on the internet. If anything, you're more able to be touched on the internet than any other place in the world. And exposing certain things on the internet is just dumb as shit. Smarten up, please. Alright? Anyway, as always, hit me up, let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. It's your boy Black Makers, and I'm out. Deuces.